right, you guys, first and foremost, let me just start this video out first by saying that you guys know I don't do reaction videos. I don't get into the back and forth stuff on YouTube, and that's not why I'm doing this video. And this is not a reaction video. It's basically a clarification about some of the things that I said in the past about a prior video that I put out about Stork. And the reason why I'm putting this out, or I'm even taking the time out to clarify what I said, is because I still respect Stork, and I respect the individual that he is, regardless of the choices that he made, regardless of however he exited the organization, however he got to where he is right now. That's on him. But there's some things that I need to clarify, because there's always people that try to take your words out of context or spin narratives and turn it into something negative. And what people need to understand, there's not always a problem with what people say. A lot of the times it's the perception that people take things in, or the context that they choose to speak on it. That's the problem. A lot of the times people like to take other people's words and spin them up, or spin a narrative to create controversy or negativity, because that's what people like. People like negativity. They like controversy. It sells. The numbers don't lie. But anyways, before I get into this, let me just send a shout out to Central Cali Certified for putting out the video on Stork. I think it was well put together. I think you did a good job also letting people know what your position was, as well as what Stork's position was, and the message that he was trying to convey. And even though I don't do the reaction videos, I still want to send a shout out to Flacco from Convict's Perspective for putting out his truth, for speaking on the things that he felt like he needed to speak on. It doesn't mean he was right. It doesn't mean he was wrong. Again, it's all about how you perceive things. Me, myself, personally, I'm going to take a different approach, because that's just not the way that I've done things, and I'm going to keep it like that. And let me also send a shout out to Stork for putting his truth out there. I understand that he felt like there were certain things that he needed to clarify that were important to him, and that's his business. Stork's gonna do what Stork does, and everybody has their reasons for doing things, period. Is it my place to pass judgment on that man, or to speak about the things that he's doing, or the things that he says, or how he says it, or how he's not saying it? That's not what I do, and I'm not going to rewrite the script now. I'm going to continue to do things the way that I've been doing them, regardless to who jumps out there on YouTube and who says what. It just doesn't matter. Like I said, shout out to Stork for answering a lot of the questions that I'm sure a lot of people wanted to know about. I know these things were important to you, Stork, and I respect that. Anyways, like I said, shout out to Stork for dropping the video, or I believe there's two videos that you put out now, for speaking on the things that you felt like were important to you. There's a lot of people that want to hear from you. I know and I respect the fact that there's only certain things you're going to talk about, and there's certain things that you're going to stay away from, and I completely understand that mindset. But at the same time, as I'm sure you know, there's a lot of youngsters that respect you and respect your name because of the things that you've been through. I personally don't place a lot of emphasis on how you exited the organization. I just don't think it's important. We all have our own story, and yours is yours. I respect it, no matter what it is. Just know this, Stork, regardless of what you've been through or what people have said, people are always going to respect you based on your name and the things that you've been through, no matter what, unless you get in the boxing ring. Because if you do that, they're going to delete your history, they're going to try to take your name, and they're going to attack your credibility. You got to laugh with them. But on the real, nobody can take away the 38 years that you spent behind the walls and the path that you personally walked yourself. That's something that's going to be cemented in history no matter what. No matter what anybody says, nobody can take that away from you. And I'm pretty sure you already know that. But anyways, let me get to the meat and potatoes and the whole reason why I chose to do this video. So after watching Stork's video, it wasn't the things that he said in his video that made me want to put this video out. It was actually some of the comments that were in that video from some of the viewers that felt like they needed to spin a narrative and twist something up that was said about Stork being homeless. So truth be told, I put a video out about 6 to 8 months ago that basically talked about Stork and some of the current events that were happening at that time. And a lot of these things were things that were conveyed to me, including Stork being homeless. Now, let me just say this. Never have I ever said that Stork was homeless in a way to attack his character or to make him look bad or to take a shot at him. Nothing like that. I would never jump on the next man or clown him about being homeless or, attack his character because he's in a situation that is beyond his control. We've all been there. I went through it when I was in my teens. I was a teenager on the streets. I've been homeless myself. So never did I say that to make Stork look bad. I simply stated the facts. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other people in the context that they might have put it in or, shots that they might have took at Stork. I respect that man. I respect his path. I respect his journey. I respect where he's at today. I know his history. I know a lot about Stork. It's not like me and Stork have a lot of history together. I did time with him in Pelican Bay in the shoe in 1998. At that time, I was celled up with Big Rock from Salinas. He was celled up with Silver. And we interacted with each other as much as we could from pod to pod. It was all business. Silver and Stork were reporters in their pod. Me and Rock were reporters in our pod. And that's the extent of it. Again, with regards to the video that I put out, I stand completely behind it. I spoke on facts, things that were happening at that time, the infighting that was happening between the state and federal factions, the truth filter, and my personal feelings weren't involved in that. I gave you guys my interpretation and understanding of the things that were being communicated in the truth filter. And Stork made the decisions that he made for his reasons. I gave you guys my opinion about it, my interpretation of the things that were being communicated, and that was it. But again, when it comes to personal feelings, my personal feelings aren't involved in this stuff. My purpose for talking about some of the things that I talk about on this channel are for the purpose of enlightening some of you that still glorify that lifestyle, or some of you that are headed down that same path and that might make that same mistake. If you want to make that same mistake, that's on you. If you want to listen to what I'm saying and hear the message behind it and deviate so that you don't fall into the same traps that I did, then I'm serving that purpose. But that's on you. Again, it's all about perception. I'm not going to make this a long video. Some of you had questions about retirement, about active homeboys jumping on YouTube, and I'm going to answer some of those questions, but I'm going to take Stork out of the equation, and I'm going to do it in general terms. Because again, my purpose here is not to sling mud and to get into all that. There's plenty of other people that like to do that, but I'm not one of them. So with respects to retirement, what you guys need to understand is this. Even in the most gravest of circumstances, take the most critical circumstances that you can have. Somebody that has defected and walked away from the organization, he's still considered to be an NF member. He's no longer in good standings. He's considered to be trash, somebody that defected. But he's still an NF member. So when you become an NF member, you're an NF member for life. It's a lifetime commitment. Once the NF has its hooks in you, they have their hooks in you for life. There is no early retirement. You don't get a pension and a retirement at the age of 50, 60, or 70. It's a lifetime commitment. You're never going to be allowed to walk away or go on in life without being involved on some level. If you're fortunate enough to live into your 70s, 80s, and 90s, at some point your physical capacity is going to start to wane. It's going to get away from you. When you've reached that age where you're no longer able to do some of the things that you used to do in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and your physical abilities are impaired, then you're going to be allowed to take a seat and you're going to be put on modified program. meaning that you're going to be given a lot of slack and a pass as far as going out and being a part of a wrecking crew, or being involved in robberies, or just some of the other things that come up in the course of everyday life out there in the field. At some point, you're just not going to be able to move like you used to. There's another common theme. But when you reach that point, you're going to be put on retirement. And again, this doesn't mean that you're just going to be able to go on in life and that, you've left the NF behind you. Your mental abilities are still functionable. Your knowledge is still valuable. So you're always going to be expected to act as an advisor. You still have the ability to pass CASHAPP down. You still have the ability to use your voice and to be heard. And that's something that's always going to be expected of you. So when you hear about retirement, stop thinking about the warehouse or the car salesman that works down the street at the car dealership. It doesn't work like that. So when it comes to retirement, anybody that claims that they were allowed to completely walk away from the organization and that they're still not involved on some level is suspect. So the last question that I'm going to answer is with respects to somebody that's active jumping on YouTube. I believe most of you already know the answer to this. So when it comes to somebody active, somebody that's still in the mix, that's out there in the field, that's still functioning, doing their thing, the last place you're ever going to see them is on YouTube. I doubt they'd even be in the comments section. Hey, you might find somebody that's just got too much time on their hands and, they're burning 30 minutes or something. They jump on YouTube and they see something that they just absolutely need to respond to under a fake profile. But you're never going to see somebody openly talking on YouTube about prison politics, gang politics, the street code, any of that stuff on any level. That doesn't mean that somebody that's active can't come on YouTube and talk about other things like weightlifting, dieting, health, other things that aren't talking about politics, that aren't talking about gang business. No matter how much other people on YouTube are running their mouths, putting out false propaganda or slinging mud, you're still not going to jump on YouTube and respond if you're active. It's a no-no. It's something you're not supposed to be doing, and stupidity is never going to draw no sympathy. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short. Again, Stork, my respects to you. I respect the fact that any future videos that you come out with, that you're limited as far as what you're willing to talk about, that you're not going to get into name dropping, and that you're not going to say anything that might have any kind of effect on anybody else. For that, I commend you. If more people would take notes, YouTube would be a better place. But unfortunately, people like drama, so that's not going to happen. And again, shout out to Central Cali Certified for dropping the video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But either way, drop a comment and let me know what you think. For those of you that give a care, bear with me just a little bit longer. I got videos dropping, trust me. Anyways, with that being said, you guys stay positive. Have a good day. Happy New Year. I hope we all have a happy, healthy, prosperous, and productive New Year. With that being said, this is your boy B, and I'm gone.